in terms of flow and this ego self sort of as a spectrum.
Okay. Yes.
Like we are probably in our most maladaptive form of behavior when we're all the way on the ego side of that spectrum.
Okay.
We're maybe concerned about the details of what's going on in our life and stressed about things unnecessarily, worried and occupying our finite attention with the wrong things in the big, broader context of things. That's maybe the best way to describe being on the far end of the ego spectrum.
And like material things.
Getting in unnecessary feuds and seeing yourself as very separate from others and being obsessed with yourself in a very non-productive way.
Yeah.
Like seeing people less as friends and collaborators and more as enemies and others is probably the far end of the ego spectrum.
Yeah.
So then on this far end of the self spectrum, though, I think it's almost like it's really that pure meditative state. It's like meditation in the beginning phase of it is kind of just getting on that surface level of the waves of consciousness where you're still aware of the contents of consciousness, but you're kind of stepping back from them.
Yeah.
But then the real transcendent meditative state is when all that stuff disappears and you even lose sense of your body and you're kind of just in the pure experience of just plain awareness, probably of just the blackness behind your eyes. And it might even be a deeper blackness because you probably even lose any awareness of your eyes looking at the back of your eyelids in that state. But in that state, the downside of that, I guess in the context of interacting with the world as a human being, is you really can only get there by doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So it's a place of non-action as far as we're concerned with human rhetoric and being a human being. So what I think I'm suggesting is that what the flow state is, it's not necessarily being on the complete self, non-ego end of the spectrum. It's more like striking this beautiful, perfect, natural balance between identifying with the self and not with the ego, but dancing with it. That you and the ego are perfectly dancing together and getting things done in this productive in the domain of ego, but not of the ego.
Yes. Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's like, well, with all of that and then thinking about like me trying to come back to that, just dealing with like a lot of trauma in my life is really hard to get my own ego out of the way.
Yeah.
And trying to come back to that to be more observational and non-active and non-reactive and just be able to be back into the flow state and have this sense of peace with that, of being able to dance with my ego and know that there are parts of me that it really does pop out and other parts that I'm more self-aware. And I think that's like the first step always, is being self-aware about it, because once you are, then you're able to do more conscious things than just having an ego and subconsciously just living your life with it.
Yeah.